Hello and welcome to Pickleball Therapy, the podcast dedicated to your pickleball improvement. My name is Tony Roy. I'm your host of this weekly podcast. It's a pleasure to be with you. I am recording on location. There'll be some background noise behind me as the crowd goes nuts. I'm here at Major League Pickleball here at the St. Pete Athletic Club down here in beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida, about 20 minutes away from my house. Just a fantastic environment around here with everybody cheering on the teams. Just the action. I got to see the Columbus Sliders right next to me over here. Having a team meeting before they go on today. It's just a different environment here at the Major League Pickleball. Highly recommend you check one of these out if you haven't. They come near you. Such a great opportunity for you to engage with this sport in a way that it's very unique to this particular format. So check it out if you get a chance. I want a quick shout out here as we get into the podcast. This week's podcast, I'm going to let you know we're going to help you identify and get past the mosquitoes that are distracting you from the moment. I think you're going to find it really useful, really helpful to you in terms of your development as a player and also as a human being, like being able to deal with things that happen that just outside your control that can derail you sometimes and distract you, both pickleball and in life. Before we dive into the podcast, a quick shout out here to Katie Keller. They have a really nice review for the book. The 5 stars, improve how you interact with pickleball. The book is full of practical ways to shape your attitude towards pickleball and those you share this wonderful sport with. You'll enjoy pickleball even more once you understand and apply the concepts and strategies shared in this book. So if you haven't had a chance to check out the book, check it out. If you had a chance to check it out and you enjoyed it, please leave a review. Even if you're going to leave less than 5 stars, perfectly fine, but there's like a 4 and a 3 star on there. I was going to read those, but there's no review. So leave a review with some feedback. It'd be awesome. All right, so let's talk about this idea of distractions and how to navigate them. What happened recently was I live in Florida, as I mentioned, about 20 minutes from this facility here, and the Florida mosquitoes in the summertime are crazy, and so mosquito gets into my house. This is a true story. Mosquito gets into my house. Now I have terrazzo flooring, which is black and white flooring. I don't have a house that's very conducive to being able to identify mosquitoes in the air, but the mosquito was there because it was biting me and I could see it every once in a while. I kept on trying to get the mosquito. Couldn't get the mosquito, right? It was there for, I don't know how many days, it's been 3 days or something with a mosquito in my house. And so it got to the point where it was very distracting, right? Like I'd be sitting there trying to get some work done and I'd spend the next 3 minutes trying to find the mosquito, and then I'd try and get some work done, and then the mosquito would bite me, and then I'd be like, shit, I gotta get the mosquito, right? So it was very disruptive, right, to my process and to my daily activities. And so, I started thinking about it, and by the 3rd day, my attitude actually changed towards the mosquito. And I was able to use some of the stuff that we do in this podcast, some of the stuff in the book, just these ideas. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, it wasn't fun, right? I don't enjoy having a mosquito nipping at me. But you know what? That's how mosquitoes are built, right? That's how mosquitoes do. Mosquitoes need to eat, right? So they're looking for food. So I can't really say it's a mosquito fault. It's not like the mosquito was trying to get me or do something to me. Was it my bad luck to have a mosquito in the house? No. I live in Florida, right? It's perfectly natural. You open the door, mosquito happens to follow you in, and there you go. Mosquito inside the house, and you got to deal with it. And so what I could do, right, is I could think of how do I want to deal with this situation, which is a mosquito in my house. Do I want to let it distract me? Do I want to let it derail me? Do I want to let it take away from my life? Or do I want to just accept it as just being a situation, right? Part of something I got to deal with and nothing else about it, right? And so basically a distraction or live with the event, live with the occurrence. So I started to choose to just live with the event, live with the occurrence, live with the mosquito, understanding that it's just doing its thing and nothing more than that. And I got to tell you something. Not only did I get to where I was fine living with the mosquito in my house, I was actually kind of rooting for the mosquito a little bit. Like I was trying to kill it. I was trying to smash it. And this mosquito was doing everything. Like it would fly in front of me. And I've lived in Florida for a while, so I'm pretty good at like tracking the mosquito and and smacking it, right? Based on where I think it's going to go, seeing and then kind of catching it. 4, 5, 6 times couldn't do it. It would land on me, and I would go to get it, and it would basically, as soon as I flexed a muscle a little bit, it would fly off, right? I mean, this mosquito was like top level mosquito in terms of being able to get away from my grasp. And at some point, you just go, tip of the cap to you, mosquito. You're very good at avoiding detection and capture and death, right? So taking this mosquito idea now, right, to our pickleball and to our lives, how do we want to engage with things that occur in our pickleball experience that are distracting, right, and can be distracting, I should say? How do we want to interact with those events in our pickleball life? And so think about things that happen, right, that can be distractions to you. Think of score get called wrong. Think of the net trickler. Think of how many times, how many players get distracted and get derailed by something like a net trickler. Think about, that gust of wind that comes up if you play outdoors. If you play indoors, somebody opens a door and the light comes in or something, whatever like that. Bad bounces, right? Bad court situation where you get bad bounce. Think of a missed shot by you, right? Think of your pop-up. Think of losing the game after a big lead. All these things that can prove to be very distracting to you, right? Just process them for a second, the same way that I did the mosquito. Like when it hits a net trickler, when the ball trickles over the net, is that the net's fault? Like, is that like some conspiracy against you because, the net is working against you? Is that bad luck from you because the ball hit the net, or is it just a part of the game, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but I've had plenty of balls on my side, trickle over, and I have plenty of balls trickle over against me. And so, thinking about it as being like unlucky doesn't make any sense. And are you going to let these events, these net tricklers and things like that, actually derail you? Are you going to let them distract you from the next moment, from enjoying the moment, right? That's what was happening to me sometimes with the mosquito, is I was sitting there and the mosquito would distract me from what I was working on, what I was focused on, what I was trying to get done, from enjoying whatever that was happening in the moment, because I started focusing on the mosquito. It was also not letting me focus on what I needed to focus on, right? Because I'm trying to write a blog or trying to do something, and then I have this mosquito flying around, and now I get pulled away from what I'm working on, right? Same thing when you play pickleball, right? You get a net trickler, bad bounce, out call dispute, things like that. The next thing you know, you're not enjoying the moment, and you're distracted, and you can't give your best if you're distracted from what's going on the court. So, and let's go back to the idea of the enjoying the moment that we're saying, right? You want to enjoy every moment that you can, particularly on the pickleball court, but just every moment that you can. And most of you who listen to the podcast are not, spring chickens anymore like me. So, not to be depressing or anything, but we only have so many moments left in our life, right? So how many of those do we want to let be spoiled or let go away because of, again, a net trickler or a bad call or something, or a bad bounce or anything like that, right? And as I mentioned, you're not going to perform your best. You can't, because your brain is so distracted with the noise, with the whatever, that you're not going to be able to perform your best in that moment, in that situation, in the next moment, because you're distracted by what happened. But that's how you frame it. That's how you choose to frame it. So why not reframe it? Why not see what it is? See the mosquito for what the mosquito is, right? It's just part of nature that sometimes will get into your house and wreak havoc on your situation if you let it. And I wanted to go back to the net tricklers for a second, because I'll tell you, it's a group that I play in. Most of us who play in the group now, we actually celebrate the net trickler. Now hear me on this. We don't just accept the net trickler. We don't just go like, oh my God, net trickler. We don't say, oh my God, net trickler, negative, right? We also don't just are neutral to net trickler, like, net trickler, no big deal. We lean into the net trickler. So when there's a net trickler, we'll say something like, awesome, exactly what we wanted, great shot, got to practice it, whatever. Some of the players actually put their hand up in a sign of solidarity whenever there's a net trickler. So we've actually taken it to the other extreme of not only is it not a negative, now in fact it's a positive for us whenever we have a net trickler. So consider that. And next time you're feeling the tug of distraction, right? So you're out on the pickleball court and something distracts you, take a moment and explore it, right? Is the distraction merited, right? Or is it just a part of the game? Net trickler, out ball, dispute, all those things. Part of the game, gonna happen if you play pickleball. And, so why not just accept the situation? And if you can, even lean into it, like the example I gave you with the net tricklers. The better you get at that on the pickleball court, the better you get at that in life, and vice versa, right? It's circular. So the better you get about that on the pickleball court, the better you get on life, and vice versa. And the next time a mosquito gets into your house, no big deal. So give some thought to that. And my guess is you can probably even identify sitting here or listening to this podcast some things that are like regular mosquitoes for you. In other words, things that like by definition are mosquitoes to you that will occupy your mind about anything, distract you. So identify those, process those before they arise, so that you're ready to deal with it the next time that situation arises in your life. So think of the mosquito, deal with it differently, and maybe even consider leaning into it in the future. You're going to feel better, and definitely going to play much better when you're out on the pickleball court. So that's this week's podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. Next week should be back in studio, I believe, for the podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, please take a minute to rate and review it and share it with your friends, because remember, if you enjoyed the podcast, they probably will too. If you're going to be at the camp in New York or at MLP in New York, I'll see you at MLP. If you're at camp, I look forward to coaching you up there in the awesome camp in New York City. Be well, and I'll see you on the next episode of Pickleball Therapy.